Hello everyone, this is Dina. I am about to leave to go down to Perry, Georgia to the state fair. I'm going to go to see if my 3 entries have won any ribbons and to see what all has been turned into the fair for judging. I'll try to get some footage if I can, and I'll give you an update when I get through. Bye. Here we are at the Georgia National Fair. This is the entrance. Anyway, all the rides. And then over here is the building we're headed to with all of the crafts. Hello everyone, this is Dina. I shot just a real small piece of video before I left home today to let you know that I was headed to the Perry Fair, which is our state fair. It's under the Georgia National Fair, I think, if you ever want to look it up on its website. But today I went with the express purpose to see if my 3 projects that I had stitched this year had won anything. And I am very excited to share with you that they did. So before I tell you how it all went, there were a couple of fun things I wanted to share with you. Number one, the fair is huge here. It's a big thing, and the arts and crafts area is in one of the largest buildings that they have at the fair. And they include everything from sculpture, photography, painting, sketching, wood carving, and then they have a room of all the needle arts, which include crocheting and knitting, cross-stitching and needlepoint, and sewing, as well as quilting. Quilts are suspended from the ceiling. They fill up the building. They're hung on walls. They're just everywhere. It's beautiful. Quilting is big here. And I am excited to tell you that there was more cross-stitch there this year than last year, and so I was happy to see that. I know that those of you who've encouraged us to participate in our fairs, Arlene Cohen and Vonna and Julie and others, who have said, just get it out there, put it out there so that people will see the craft. I'll be honest, I wasn't going to this year because I was a little nervous. In our state fair, once you've won 12 ribbons cumulative in your lifetime, you have to move out of the amateur status into the professional category. I don't consider myself a professional stitcher. It's a hobby to me, and so I always felt a little uncomfortable putting myself in that category, and never had, but this year I didn't have a choice because over the course of the years I have enough ribbons that I felt I had to go in there. Well, I did, and I am tickled pink because I think that may be one of the reasons that I got some of the ribbons that I did. I'm not sure they're available if you're not in the professional category, but it could be that I've just improved in my stitching, and I can thank all of you for that. You have taught me techniques, your videos, your tutorials, your comments, your answering of my questions. I'm learning all the time. I had never stitched on Davos fabric before, and someone told me you have to turn it a quarter turn and see how it does as far as your threads, hiding from you or whatever. All these tips that people have learned and share with each other, they help us. They really do. Vonna telling me, that when you're being judged, they want to see your stitches floating on top of the fabric. I've worked really hard this year to not have my stitches too tight. So I can thank FlossTube for helping me to be a better stitcher, to have a higher quality in my finished product. So I thank you all for that, and I want to add my encouragement to all of you. If you've never put anything in the fair, or even if you have and you weren't necessarily a winner of a ribbon on everything you did, it doesn't have to be the end of your experience, and it doesn't have to define your experience. I have put things in the fair and not won what a ribbon on it, or not won what I had hoped to win on it. The main thing is, as everyone has said, get it out there so people can see it. I chose one of my pieces this year specifically for the fact that it was a flat fold finish, and I've never seen one at our fair, and I wanted to share that finish type. And it won a second place ribbon, and it was the flag lady, the one that Vonna taught in her class. And so it was a free pattern, and then we stitched it, and she taught us how to make a flat fold, and I decided to enter it into the fair and got a second place on it. I don't think they really quite knew what kind of finish it was because I couldn't find it when I got there. And one of the ladies that helped me to find it was having a hard time picturing in her head what a flat fold was. I was trying to explain to her it was like a tent fold, you know, and it was stood on its own. And she said, well, be sure and look up high because they may have hung it up. And I'm thinking they better not have, because there was nothing to hang it with. They would have had to put holes in my piece to do that. But it was not hung anywhere. It was in a glass encased cabinet. So they obviously wanted to make sure that nobody picked it up and walked off with it. I was very happy that they had protected it so well, and I was happy also that I won a second place ribbon on it. It was a quick stitch. I think it took me 8 hours to stitch it. So to get a second place ribbon on that was just wonderful. Okay, it took me a while to find this. I actually had to get some help, and there she is, the grand old flag there. Got a second place ribbon on that one, so that's exciting. Okay, now I'll just get to enjoy the rest of the place. And then the children's garden I found, and it had 2 ribbons. It had a blue first place and a purple Excellence Award ribbon. So I wasn't quite familiar with that. I'd never gotten one of those before. So I went and asked the volunteer, what did the purple ribbon stand for? And she said, oh, she said, that's better than first place. That's an Excellence Award. I guess it's like getting an A+. I don't know. Anyway, I've never had one before, so pretty happy about that. Okay, here's Children's Garden. It has a blue ribbon for first place, and it also has a purple ribbon for the Needle Arts Award of Excellence in Family Traditions Memories. Very happy. I will tell you, when I first got there, I found my first piece very quickly. It was the Smoky Mountain Christmas. And it had ribbons on it, but they were turned backwards. I couldn't see what they said. So I had to go ask one of the volunteers if they would mind turning ribbons around on one of the pieces I was interested in looking at. And they hesitated at first, and finally one of the volunteers there walked over with me and let me show him the piece. And he looked at me kind of funny, and he said, a little bit nosy, aren't you? And I said, no, sir. I said, I guess I am. I said, because it's mine and I want to know what they are. And he laughed out loud. He said, I'm so sorry. He said, I didn't realize it was your piece. So anyway, there were 3 ribbons on it. There was a blue ribbon for first place. There was a purple ribbon that said Excellence Award. And then there was kind of an orangey ribbon, and it said Best in Category. Okay, found the first one. This is Smoky Mountain Christmas, and in case you haven't noticed, I did. There are 3 ribbons on this thing. There's a blue first place ribbon, and then there is a purple ribbon for the Needle Arts Award in Excellence Family Traditions Memories. And then there's a Needle Arts Best in Category Family Traditions and Memories, all for this one piece. Oh my goodness. I am beyond excited. Oh,
This is awesome. These ribbons were actually turned around backwards, and I had to go get one of the volunteers here to turn them over for me. Oh, so happy. It looks great in the Santa display.
So for 3 pieces that I submitted, I got 6 ribbons, and I think that is phenomenal. And it brought to mind Arlene's video when she had her piece in there and she got first place, and then she got the people's choice, and then she got the judge's choice, and got several ribbons on one piece, much more than I did. But the point being, people can appreciate your craft, and it really feels good to be validated. You don't necessarily need it, you do it for yourself, but it sure feels good when it happens. And all I kept thinking about was, Smoky Mountain Christmas, goodness gracious, I spent 541 hours on that piece, and it sure was worth it. Children's Garden was a little bit easier. It was only 153 hours. But if you notice the time it took to do each piece, the rewards that I got seemed to be tracking right along with how much effort I put into it. So there may be something to be said for that. I don't know. But I couldn't wait till the end of the month to share this with you. I was too excited. And I just hope it will encourage you to do the same. And those of you who are in the Smoky Mountain Christmas Sal, and there's a lot of you, I know it can be overwhelming. And I know that at times you feel like, I just can't do another stitch on this piece. Please take heart. It is well worth the journey, because it was very well liked at this event, and I was so happy that it was. So I hope you are having a great day. I hope that all of your surprises will be positive like mine was today, and I hope you're having a great day stitching. Happy stitching, everyone. Bye.
Here's your best of show in the Family Traditions Memories. Beautiful. This is a quilt. It's an applique quilt. Try to get a little closer. It's beautiful. Very intricately quilted. Best in show.